245,000 influence points, more than $100 million paid in royal taxes, more than 500 hours in this save alone. Based on these few numbers, go in the comments below and share your guess on how big this new population record is. 3, 5, 6, 10, 12 millions? Let's see who can get the closest guess to the reality. During season 2, I made a min-maxing record with more than 3 million scholars. After you're done with this video, don't hesitate to check the video description below or my channel for this previous record. But last year with season 3, min-maxers got a lot of new things. Docklands, skyscrapers, they opened a whole new world of possibilities. And that's what we'll see today with this amazing new world record. I'm StrideGamer, covering strategy, city building, simulations, with game reviews, guides, let's plays and more. We just crossed the 1000 subscriber mark. Thank you to everybody watching and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't hesitate to press the red button below to subscribe so you never miss another video and you really help support the channel. Today I am making this amazing video in collaboration with the owner of this save, because once again this is not my save and this will likely be my last video of season 3. I also have a video covering all you can expect during season 4 during this 2022 year. Check the video description below at the end of the video to see it. Now without further ado, I know you want to see how big this is. 8.8 million people, mainly coming from skyscrapers. We have 8.3 million investors in those skyscrapers in the old world. And also 300,000 elders in Enbessa. That's a huge number. A huge congrats to Wicked for such a record. And as you can see here, this is very stable. Of course, from time to time there will be a small fire, a illness or something like this that will temporarily reduce the population somewhere, but it always goes back up. And as you can see, even running it for several hours, this is very stable at more than 8 million people. I also want to mention another min-maxer, Fox. I'll post in the video description below the link to his channel if you want to check it out. Not just because he's another great min-maxer who reached almost the same record as this one, but also because when I started to talk with Wicked, it was clear that this save is basically the result of everything he learned, first from my videos, then from Fox, and then of course with a few of his own ideas and a lot of effort. Remember, more than 500 hours to create this save. Now we will do a quick tour of the Empire so I can show you the tips and secrets you need to master to make such a record possible. I also have a great surprise for you all at the end, so please don't leave before the end. Let's start with the smallest region in probably everybody's save, the Arctic. I said small, but it did manage to have almost 61,000 technicians, and on top of that 1,000 explorers just needed for some of the productions. As you can see, it is a fairly autonomous region, producing most of what is needed locally in a few hubs and then transported across all of the islands. It's producing all of the husky sleds, all of the oil lamps and pemmican needed, also even some canned food. For example, in this island, making a lot of pemmican and oil lamps. This is the husky sled island, and all of the gas mines on the 4 plateaus are even clipped. You can see it here. They get these bonuses twice by being clipped. Let's visit now Enbessa, which is quite impressive with, as I said, more than 300,000 elders. And all of these elders are of course boosted with some items. They are provided with everything. Well, everything not really, because of course for the happiness needs you shouldn't provide everything. If you're a min-maxer, if you provide a lot of things in the happiness tabs, this is just space that you're taking that is lost. For example, if you're building a monastery just to get a bit of happiness, the space of that monastery is space where you could have put more elders. So it's a waste. So why did he build a musician court? Well, as you can see, the musician court may be in the happiness tab, but it is actually providing some elders. Why? Because of this item here, which is providing a bonus resident +2 for the musician court and the clay pipe. That's why he's building both of these. In classic min-maxing, he specializes in island for 1 or 2 productions with trade unions, the best items for each of those production chains, and also minimizing transport that way. This island here, the illuminated scripts and the lanterns. So once again, he's producing most of what's needed directly on site, all of the lanterns, illuminated scripts, ceramics, and much more, but not everything. For example, you can see it's not producing stew. Why? Because you can import stew with Dockland, so why build it? Similarly, the linen, you can import it with Dockland, so it's not making any. But as you can see, it's actually making other things. For example, a bit of ethanol, that's not so important. What's important is here, 500 tons per minute of cotton. Where is this cotton coming from? As you can see, from the Wanza woodcutter. He has several islands like this one, which is full of elders. As you can see, it's elders everywhere, but he's actually producing cotton here. How? Well, you may see a few trees here and there, because they're Wanza woodcutter that are hidden across the city, and they are always clipped. You can see again that we're getting 6 items instead of 3, and in particular we're getting twice the Teutonic Technical Secateur and Ursula, which provide forest density. And what that means is that even with just a few tiles, just a few trees, you do get 100% available area. You know, there's only 7 trees. With 7 trees, we still get 100% productivity. But where is the cotton? The cotton is a byproduct, 1 out of 4 cycle, which come with this item. And again, because you have 2, actually you get 1 out of 2 cycles. That's a huge amount of cotton for not a lot of space. I hope you agree with that. If you don't know about clipping, this is definitely one of the major min-maxing secrets out there. Don't hesitate to say in the comments below and I'll explain further. If you want to share some loves with Wicked or want to help the YouTube algorithm share this with more Anno fans out there, press the like button below. Now the new world. Fun fact, this is a record, but he actually still has some space in the new world and also in the old world. In the new world, this is this island here, which is half done, and so there's space for a few more people over here. Definitely not enough to get to 9 million, but still interesting. The new world is really critical because we all know how many goods can only be produced in the new world at scale. In season 2 in particular, it was things like coffee and chocolate, but with skyscrapers, there's actually many new ones like citrus, celluloid, and others. Obviously, with season 3, there's also Dockland that helps, for example, with coffee and chocolate, but still, the new world is a challenge, and that's why season 4 is actually focused on the new world, so we're gonna be able to construct even more here. Another fun fact, here I've selected all of the New World island, and you can see it's producing actually a lot of goods from the old world. Potatoes, work clothes, tallows, and many more. Similar to the cotton in Enbessa that we just saw, these are produced as byproducts of other productions. But more interestingly, you can see huge production numbers. More than 1,000 tons of ethanol per minute, almost 500 tons of celluloid per minute, almost 800 sugar, 600 tons of citrus, almost 500 tons of camphor, and many others. What I found really interesting is the ethanol production. A lot of people made calculations, speculated ways to make ethanol the most efficiently as byproduct like we saw in Enbessa. But the truth is, if you are using Dockland, wood and corn, which is needed to make ethanol in a normal way, are really cheap. The only thing is you'll definitely need a lot of obreros on that island. There's 125 obreros per chemical plant ethanol. Here on this island alone, we have 163 of those buildings, producing in total almost 700 ethanol tons per minute. Here you have the celluloid island, and you can see how smart this is here. Is put those chemical plant celluloid clipped. You can see they are having twice the same item because there's only one item that can improve it in the middle of many of those orchards, so that then the trade unions can still have 2 items for all of those orchards. And finally, look at islands like this one. I know beauty builders out there are going to say this is ugly. I think this is beautiful. I think this is amazing. Look at how many houses are cramped. Look at this. This is every single corner of the island. And look at this near perfect coverage of all of the town halls across the island. Now I know you've all been waiting for the old world, so let's dive right in, starting with Crownfall. And as you can see, of course, a lot of ships coming and going in Crownfall. With Dockland, you can import a lot of things, including from the other regions like the seafood stew we saw earlier, but you can't import everything. In particular, many of the new goods for skyscrapers, you can't. You have to produce them. And that's why you have to be smart about which policies you use. For example, here on Cronfall, he has selected the Skilled Labor Act, which is really definitely what I suggest, because it will give you a huge boost for your biscuit production, typewriter production, and lacquer production, which are really three key productions for a record like this one. And that's why you can see he's actually producing all of this on this island. Here you have all of the typewriters that are needed to feed this empire. Here you have all of the biscuit production, and biscuits also do require flour, which is why he's put all of these mills in the middle. Why in the middle? To do integrated production chain. What does that mean? It means that when the flour is produced by the mill, it won't go to a warehouse. It will go actually directly into a biscuit factory, and then only the biscuit factory will deliver to the warehouse. So you cut the number of warehouses that you need by quite a lot. But once again, the really interesting one is the chemical plant lacquer. Like all the other chemical plants, there's only one item that you can use, and therefore you have to clip it. You have to clip those chemical plants, also because they require a lot of engineers. And as you can see, that's what is done here. All of these are clipped, so they get the item twice, but they also get the boost 1 out of 3 extra good twice. But as we said, there's only one item, so then your trade unions end up with only one item, and you end up with a lot of space in the middle, which is why it's perfect to do it on Cronfalls, because on Cronfall you have your palace, so you can also have other policies. You can have your welfare policies, and therefore you can just fill all of the space in between those chemical plants with skyscrapers. Looking at the consumer goods, we can see that it's definitely not producing any of the old type good that you can import with Docklands, like your light bulbs, your coffee, your champagne, but of course he has to produce all of the other new goods, and you can see he's producing enough. The violins, biscuit, typewriter, the chewing gum in the New World, toys, billiard tables, cognac, but not the steam carriages that you can import. And then lastly, you can see he's producing a crazy amount of penny farthing, almost 4,400 tons per minute. How is he feeding all of these islands with all of the goods? But he's not even giving the penny farthing that he's producing to the people. So what is he doing with it? Well, of course, the answer is Dockland. In pretty much all of the islands that he has in the Dockland main wharf, you will see something similar to this, where a lot of penny farthing and a few other things like the steam motors or the advanced weapons will be sold against what's needed, against champagne, glasses, coffee, and all those things that you can import. Basically, he's producing a lot of penny farthing and then importing exactly what's needed to feed the population of that island between two arrivals of Captain Tobias. He's also often selling those penny farthing against iron and caoutchouc. You may be wondering why. Well, it's because iron and caoutchouc are exactly what's needed to make penny farthing. So basically he's building penny farthing, then selling some of them to get what's needed to make more penny farthing, and with all of the other penny farthing that are left, he's feeding his population. This is thanks to boost and items, in particular also clipping. Once again, you can see this bicycle factory here is clipped, which is 4 items, including Bruno, who's going to give advanced weapons and steam motors for free, and that's why you saw that he was selling some of these. It's just there's no need for them anywhere, so selling them is for sure the best thing to do. And of course here the beauty and complexity is actually the math made by Wicked to find out how many bicycles are needed to feed exactly the right population with the right number of glasses, coffee, etc. between 2 visits of Captain Tobias. You need the exact number. If you have not enough, your population will starve for some minutes. If you have too much, then that means it's gonna stall. Obviously, we couldn't not talk about the skyscrapers on the island like this one. I have a video on my channel explaining how to build those islands, what items to put, and all of this. Don't hesitate to check it out. Look at all of these buffs here, coming both from cultural items, newspapers, town halls, and of course all of the new arcades. There's many more tips and secrets I could cover to explain this magnificent min-maxing record. I repeat, 8.8 million, that's the new record out there. Tell me in the comments below if you have questions or requests for specific detailed video, or also don't hesitate to comment just to share with Wicked what you think about this. I know he will be checking your feedback for sure. So what's next for min-maxer out there? Well, it's two things. The first one is even before season 4, a lot of min-maxers starting to play with arbitrage. And with arbitrage, they're pretty sure they'll be able to reach at least 9 million people. But more importantly, we of course have season 4 starting with more space in the new world. That opens a lot of possibilities. Also, the hacienda and the fertilizer is opening a few more opportunities to save space and therefore to have even more density of population. So we're definitely getting close to the 10 million marks of population. I think that will be reached in season 4. Let's see who's the first to get there. But before we conclude, as I promised, one surprise. Head to the description video below and you will find the link to download this actual save so you can play it for yourself. If you don't know how to play a save that you've downloaded, don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below and I explain. Again, don't hesitate to press the like button if you like this video and I hope to see you next time.